another day, another moment of trying to figure out if my camera is blurry or not. I don't think it is. I don't think it is. It is wobbly though. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. For today's video, I really wanted to make a Christmas hat. Honestly, I could have just went to the store and bought a Christmas hat, but I had a vision for a Christmas hat in my head that I really want to try to execute today. So that's what we're going to be doing today. We're making a Christmas hat. It should be really easy. I am not trying to spend the rest of my night making this Christmas hat, even though I'm probably going to end up spending the rest of my night making this Christmas hat, but it's going to be worth it. Before we begin, I want to show you guys my Christmas sweater. It is the, let me show you guys a little close up. It's the holiday cheermeister sweater from the Grinch. I was actually working with a company that I'm sure we are all familiar with, Hobby, and they wanted me to make a Christmas sweater, and of course I went ahead and made the most challenging Christmas sweater I've ever made, which is this baby right here, and I'm very proud of it. So I needed to have a moment in this video where I am highlighting this sweater. Anyways, before we start the video, you know we gotta take care of the housekeeping. So make sure that you're subscribed to this channel, and also make sure you turn your notification bell on so that you can be notified every time I post. If you're interested in checking out my crochet patterns and crochet designs, the links to those will be in the description, along with all of the links to my other social media pages if you want to keep up with what I'm doing. And I think that is it for the intro. Once again guys, it seems like as soon as I turn the camera on, Milo gets hungry. So I'll try again in a few minutes. So for today's tutorial, we'll be using a size 5mm crochet hook, and I'm going to be using white for the ribbing of the hat, green for the base of the hat since it's going to be like a little Christmas tree, and then I have various colors here that I want to use for like the ornaments on the tree. I'm gonna try my best to create ornaments on this project, so feel free to get whatever colors you want to use for your ornaments, but these will be the colors I use for mine. And now let's get started on our hat. So we're gonna start off by making a slip knot, and this is going to be for the ribbing of the hat. So if you know how to crochet ribbing, then you can skip this, but if you don't, I'll be showing you here. So we're going to start off with a slip knot, and then we're going to chain 8. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, and then in the third stitch from the hook we're going to put a double crochet, and then we're going to double crochet all the way across the row. And this is what it should look like so far. So now we are going to chain 2, turn our work, and in the back loops only, so when you look at your work from the top, you're going to see loops right here. In this loop only, the loop furthest away from you, we are going to put our double crochet. Usually we go into both loops when we're crocheting regularly, but when we crochet ribbing, you go into the loop that's furthest away from you. And we do that all the way across the row. When you get to the end, you make sure you put your last stitch in that second chain from the chain 2 that we skipped at the beginning of the row, at the beginning of the previous row, right? So at the end here, you're going to see your 2 chains, chain 1 here, chain 2 at the top, and you're going to put it into the back loop of that second chain. And that is what your work should look like now. So we're going to chain 2 again, turn our work, and do the same thing. You're going to skip the 2 chains that you just made and this first stitch right here, because that's the stitch that our 2 chains is technically coming out of, and then you're going to work into this next loop here, the loop furthest away from you, and you're going to put your double crochets. And you're going to continue to repeat that until your ribbing is long enough to go around your head. You're doing the same thing. Make sure you chain 2 at the end of every row, turn your work, and then go ahead and do your double crochets in the back loop only. So because I have not made this hat as yet, I don't know how many rows I will be using to surround my head at this point, but I'll put it on the screen so you know how many rows I used. But I would really just recommend, you know, crocheting a certain amount of rows and then just trying your ribbon on around your head. I'm gonna go ahead and get the rest of this ribbing done off camera, try it on around my head, and then come back and let you guys know how many rows I used. And we are back. So I have about 34 rows done, and my head measures about like 21.5 inches around. So 34 rows should be the perfect amount. Remember, this is going to stretch as well, so you want to account for the stretch so that it fits snug on the head. And now we are going to essentially sew up the 2 sides. What I like to do in order to do this the easiest way is take your hook out, put it into that corner of the opposite side, put that loop over your hook, and then just pull it through there. From there, you're going to chain 1, turn your work, and then I like to line up the stitches and just do a slip stitch all the way down. Make sure you're going into under both loops on both sides, and then slip stitching. And there we have it. Both sides are now sewn together. So now we're going to switch colors to our green color for our tree. Then we're gonna chain 1, clip your white color. We'll be done with the white for now. And I know I said chain 1, but we're actually going to chain 2. And then we are going to place 2 double crochets in each row of ribbing. So right here, this is 1 row from our ribbing, and we're gonna put 2 double crochets into this gap right here. Then we're going to put 2 double crochets into the next row, the side of the next row. And we're just going to keep doing that all the way around. So when you get to the end of the row, you know that chain 2 we did at the beginning, we're going to slip stitch into the second chain from that chain 2, and that's it. Then we're going to chain 2 again. So after we chain 2 right here, we are going to do a decrease. So you're going to yarn over, and this is how I do my decreases. You can do your decreases however you do them, but for me, I yarn over, I go into that first stitch, I pull up a loop, I go into the second stitch, I pull up a loop, yarn over again, pull through 3 loops, yarn over, and pull through the last 2. And that's how I do a decrease. Then we are going to double crochet all the way across the row, and then when we get to the end, we're going to do another decrease at the end of the row. But for now, just put 1 double crochet in each stitch all the way across until the last 2 stitches. Okay, so we're at the last 2 stitches right here, and you're going to do another decrease. So you're going to yarn over, go into the stitch, pull up a loop, go into the next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 3, yarn over, pull through 2. And after that's done, you're going to slip stitch into the second chain from the beginning, chain 2. And that is it for the second row. You're going to chain 2 again. You're going to do another decrease. Same, we're going to do the same exact thing we did for the previous row. Then double crochet all the way around until the last 2 stitches. Okay, so we're at the end of the row again, and we're going to do our last decrease. Remember, we're only decreasing at the beginning and at the end of the row. After you do your decrease, slip stitch into the second stitch from the beginning, chain 2, and chain 2 again. We're going to be decreasing in every single row until we have no stitches left. So this row will be no different from the last 2 in that we will be decreasing in the beginning. So we have our chain 2 and our decrease, and those will count as our first 2 stitches. This is the row where we're going to be starting with our baubles for our ornaments on our tree. So you're going to want to get your different colors ready because we're going to be switching colors back and forth. So we're going to start off with our first 2 stitches, and then we're going to do 3 more double crochets, but stop halfway through the third. So what I mean by stopping halfway through the third is we're going to yarn over, go into the stitch, pick up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, and then stop right there and get your new color. So we're going to jump in with the red for our first little ornament. Now at this point we're going to be adding our new color. So you're just going to put your yarn over your hook for your new color and use that new color to pull through those last 2. So now we're going to work our bobble stitch. You're going to want to keep the tail for the new color and your old color on top of your stitches so that we can tuck them. But for the next stitch, it's going to be our bobble. So you're going to yarn over, go into the next stitch, pull up a loop with your new color, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over again, go back into the stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 again, and you're going to repeat that 3 more times. So this is what it should look like, and you should have 6 loops on your hook. I know I said we were going to do it 3 more times, but let's do it 2 more on top of that. So we should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 loops on our hook so far. Then we're going to do 2 more for our bobble. Pull through 2, and now we should have 8 loops on our hook. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 loops on your hook. Then you're going to go in with with our base color again. You're going to use that base color, yarn over, and pull through all 8 of those loops like that. Then you're going to double crochet with our base color, and then you can clip that color for our first bobble. Be very delicate with these ends too. You're going to have to either tie a knot or weave these in the end. But now we're just going to continue to double crochet. We're going to do a total of 7 more double crochets. On that 7th one, you're going to stop halfway through that double crochet. Then you're going to get the next color that you want to use for your next bobble stitch. I think I'm going to use yellow for this one. I'm just going to put that loop over your hook and then pull through those 2 loops with the new color. And then we're going to do a bobble in the next one, making sure to tuck these 2 pieces of yarn, the tail for the new color and your old color. So you're going to yarn over, go into the stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 stitches, stop, yarn over, go into the loop, into the stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, right? And we're going to do this until we have a total of 8 loops on our hook. So we have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. We have all 8 of our stitches done. Then we're going to take our old color, yarn over, and pull through all the stitches on the hook. Now we can clip that yellow color and then double crochet, making sure to tuck the ends just for this one double crochet. Double crochet in the next stitch. Okay, let those ends go, and then double crochet for the next 7 stitches. You can always push your bobbles out because sometimes they'll go inward like that and be facing the other side. So you can just use your finger and push your bobbles out so they can have the round appearance. So stopping halfway in our last stitch, we're going to get another color. I think you guys are starting to get the hang of this. Put it over the hook, pull through those 2. Then we're going to do another bobble stitch with our new color. Then drop that color, take our first color, pull through all the loops, clip color, and then double crochet in the next stitch, tucking the ends. And then another 7 double crochets. Making sure to stop halfway through that 7th one. Now we're just going to continue to do that all the way across the row, making sure to slip stitch at the end like we did in the previous row, and also decrease at the end like we do in the previous row. So continue doing your little bobbles, and then we'll meet back up at the end of the row. Okay, so I got all my little bobbles done around that row, and now we're at the last 2 stitches, and we're going to do a decrease. Do not forget that we are still decreasing at the beginning and at the end of every row. After we decrease, you slip stitch into the 2nd chain from the beginning chain 2. Then we're going to chain 2 again, turn your work. But for this row, we are just going to do double crochets in every stitch. We're also going to be decreasing in the beginning and in the end. So chain 2, turn your work, do your decrease, and then double crochet in every stitch, including over your little bobbles. So we're at the end of that row. We're going to do our decrease, then we're going to slip stitch into the beginning chain 2. We're actually going to do the exact same thing for the next row, so no bobbles in the next row. Actually, let's see, no bobbles actually in the next 2 rows. So we're going to do 2 more rows of just double crochets, making sure to decrease in the beginning and the end, and chain 2 at the beginning of every row. All right, chain 2, turn your work, decrease, then do your double crochets, and then decrease at the end and slip stitch. We're going to do that for 2 more rows, and then I'm going to come back. So we got those 2 rows done, and now we're going to do another row of bobbles. So if you remember, the first bobble row we did our chain 2, which counted as our first stitch, and then we did a decrease, which counted as our second stitch. Then we did 3 more, and we stopped halfway through the third. Then we changed to our new color. So since we have red and yellow here, I think I want to go for the light blue. And then we did our bobble stitch. Remember we did, you guys remember how to do the bobble. I don't gotta tell you how to do the bobble, right? So we had 8 loops on our hook. Then we pull through all 8 loops with our base color. Then we did a double crochet in the next stitch, making sure to tuck those ends into that double crochet. Now we can clip that color. And then we're going to do 7 more double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now we're going to do another bobble, and we're going to continue to do that all the way across the row, just like our first bobble row, and decrease at the end of the row. We're at the last 2 stitches of our bobble row, and you guys know what to do. We're going to do a decrease and slip stitch, and chain 2. Yeah, so we're going to do 3 rows of double crochet, decreasing in the first and last stitch. And then we're going to do another bobble row, then another 3 rows of double crochet, then another bobble row, and we're going to continue this until we have little to no stitches left. So I'm going to get most of that done off camera, but this is what it should look like so far. How adorable. But yeah, I'm going to get those rows done off camera, and then we're going to come back and finish this hat. So I just wanted to come back and quickly say, if when you're doing a bobble row, your bobble stitch either ends up on the last or the second to last stitch, you're going to place your bobble in the second to last stitch and then skip the last stitch so that we can still have a decrease. So I'll go ahead and show you guys what I mean. So we're putting 8 stitches in between each bobble. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 would be here, which would be, and then our last bobble would end up being in the last stitch. Instead of doing it that way, we're going to do 7, then we're going to do our bobble stitch here. And instead of putting our last double crochet in this last stitch here, since we're supposed to be decreasing at the end of the row, we're just going to skip that last stitch and slip stitch into the second chain from the beginning chain 2. And that's it. But that is only if your bobble lands on one of the last 2 stitches. Okay, so this is what we have so far. I will zoom out a little bit, show you guys what it looks like. It's literally a lopsided triangle. I stopped putting bobbles on the row that had only 2 bobbles, and then I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows of double crochets after that. Now we have this little gap at the top of the hat. We're just gonna do some slip stitches to close that, the same way we slip stitch to close the ribbing. So just gonna go into those loops. Just gonna go into those stitches and do some slip stitches. Just like that. Chain 1, flip your yarn, and we're done. So now I'm actually going to make like a little star for the end. You can put a pom-pom here, or if you want to crochet like a gingerbread man or a little angel, you can put whatever you want here. I just want to do a star because I feel like the star is the perfect thing for on top of the tree, which is the hat. So yeah, I'm gonna crochet those stars. So you can either start off with a magic circle, or you can chain 3, then slip stitch into the first chain and create a circle. Whatever way you want to start off with your circle. Then you're going to chain 3. You're going to place 2 double crochets into the center of your circle. Then you're going to chain 2, do another 3 double crochets into the circle. Chain 2 again, 3 double crochets into the circle. Chain 2 again, another 3 double crochets into the circle. Chain 2 one more time, not one more time, chain 2 again, and then put the last 3 double crochets into the circle. Chain 2, close your circle. If you did the chain method, you won't have to close your circle, but if you did the magic circle, you're going to have to. And then you're going to slip stitch into the 3rd chain from the chain 3 we did at the beginning. And that is the first round for the star. Then we're going to chain 6. You're going to single crochet in the 2nd chain from the hook. So 1, 2, you're going to single crochet here. You're going to do a half double crochet in the next stitch. We're going to do a double crochet in the next stitch. And then a treble crochet in the next 2 stitches. And then you're going to slip stitch into the next chain space. Just like that. So now you're going to repeat the same thing we just did. Again, you're going to chain 6. Place a single crochet in the second stitch from the hook. Place a half double crochet in the next stitch. A double crochet in the next. Then 2 treble crochets. One in each stitch. And then you slip stitch into the next chain space. We're going to continue to do that all the way around until you have all 5 peaks done. And I'm actually going to make 2 stars. And I actually think I'm going to make 2 stars and stuff it. I'm not entirely sure, but yeah, go ahead and finish your star and then I will be back. Okay, so I have my 2 little wonky stars done, and now I'm just going to sew them to the hat, but I want to sew them like starting in the middle. So I'm going to sew them like this, 2 stars with the backs facing over the little hat. You can either use like a sewing needle and actually sew them, or you can use a slip stitch. Yeah, I think I'm actually going to use a sewing needle just because I think I work a little bit faster with the sewing needle. But you could also use a slip stitch. Whatever sewing method works best for you is what you should use.
What is this? Like, I'm just posing of that. Okay, so I just got to the building. Here it is. It says no parking from 10 a.m. to noon, but it's noon. It's on Friday only. So I think I'm good here. I think parking really confusing, but whatever. I think my team's here already too. Oh, so we just ran together the ways, the directions we live in and stuff is, and I'm in drive. The directions we live in and stuff like that is just, like I said, I can't drive in like heels, so I have to let my shoes. It's kind of crazy. But okay, I'll see you guys later. I'm about to go inside.
And just like that, our Christmas hat is done. I'm gonna go ahead and zoom out and give you guys a full view of how cute this Christmas hat is. Of course, you're gonna wanna go in and just like push out all your bobbles, make sure they're all pushed out, and then either weave in all these ends or honestly just tie a knot like I'm going to do and just clip it. And your hat is done. It's so cute. I'm in love with the little star on the top. So here's the final product of the hat. I think it is so cute. It came out exactly how I wanted it to. It looks like a little tree with some ornaments and a little star, and I am literally completely obsessed. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure you like and subscribe. Make sure you leave me a comment and let me know how you feel about this cute little Santa hat, and I will see you guys in the next one.